Hey guys, my name's Noah Levy and this is Noah's Ark. So every month I introduce you to one of my friends and we ask them certain questions about why are you in New York? What makes you stay here? What interests you? What are your passions? And what are you up to next? I'm so glad you guys are joining me. I'm learning a lot and I hope you will also. Here we go. So excited for this week's guest because she's a very close friend of mine and somebody that I consider to be a legend. And her head just got this much bigger. This is Lisa Lampanelli.
Hey,
hey, and her
as long as my ass didn't get that much bigger, because I worked a long time on getting this weight off. No muffin top showing.
No muffin top.
I don't care. Let me tell you,
no
matter what age you get, I'm 53. No matter how much weight you lose, you're always going to have a tiny bit of a muffin top,
right,
or a camel toe. So I just had to make sure I didn't have either.
People know you as, and correct me, as a insult comic.
Right.
Many have called you the Queen of Mean. Mm-hmm. People know you as your stage persona, but of course, like most performers, you're not like that at all.
Right.
And I feel like you're going through an interesting transition in your career where the real Lisa is actually going to start to show.
Yeah, it's funny because the new special I just filmed is called Back to the Drawing Board. And the reason I called it that was because it's like I'm sort of back to what I originally was, sort of storytelling comic, comic who tells more about my life. Because, you know, I built my whole career as an insult comic because of one guy heckling me on my third performance ever. And
it was from one performance?
Exactly. Some guy yelled, because I was actually really, you know, I was really funny when I started, but just beginning, and a different comic went up after me and he was sucking wind, and the guy yelled, "Bring back the fat chick." So most people who had some self-esteem would have heard the bring back part. All I heard was the fat part. And, you know, when you're a fat bitch, that's all you care about because that's the worst word ever to you. I started comedy when I was 30. I always knew no matter what I look like, no matter what I wear, no matter how I talk, they're going to still like me. So I had no fear that once I lost the weight, they were still going to be into me. Because you don't get the operation and suddenly the fat gene gets sucked out of you. I may have lost the weight, but I'm still that, you know, flawed human being that everybody else is.
So today's Know Your Stuff. We're here at the New York Auto Show. Very exciting. Lots of interesting sights to see. Now, you know, generally in New York, you really can't afford to collect cars. I mean, certain people do. Jerry Seinfeld, you know, very famously. But here, at least, you can come to the Javits Center and kind of take a look and see what other people might be collecting. And heck, I mean, it's just a good excuse to come here because it's so much fun to get to see all this stuff. So let's check it out. One of the fun aspects to a show like this is occasionally you get to see some of the classic stuff. Some of these car companies like to bring in some of their classic cars, juxtapose them with some of the new stuff they're doing. Here at Alfa Romeo's booth, we've got a few real classics here. We got one from the 30s, one from the 60s there, and the brand new one. It's pretty sexy stuff. It's great. Muscle cars, big money, big time, collectible. These are some beauties, restored, but I mean, these things jumped in value, just like anything else, just like any other kind of collectible. You know, the kids of the 60s and 70s, when they got old enough to be able to afford these things, they go all out. And the prices skyrocketed on muscle cars and continue to, so very cool to see.
It all started when I took an online feng shui course, and I realized that we have a lot of what they call stagnation. How gross does that sound? So I said to my husband, we need to clear stuff out. He's like, okay, but it's all on you. So I needed a friend, I needed a partner. What I found is this book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. I love the book. There is absolutely a reason it sold 2 million copies. But can I do it? I am determined to clear away my clutter and stagnation. Let's see if I can do it.
As a best-selling author, I'm always on the hunt for new things to inspire me.
Everyone wants to live a better life, but New Yorkers are determined. I can hear my friends saying, "But Nikki, your apartment's so clean and organized." Exhibit 1. This is an entire cabinet of CDs. We no longer own anything that plays CDs. They're dust-free, they're well organized, and Marie would say they're garbage. So, how did I come to have a living room of well-organized garbage? Come on over to exhibit number 2. So this is what the other side of my living room looks like, and this is actually a good day. How does this happen? Babies come with so much equipment, parents rapidly acclimate to having brightly colored plastic shit in every room of our homes. We stop seeing it. It's what scientists call selective inattention. But Marie would say, in order to clear, you have to see clearly. So let's take a look. What do we have? Oh, fantastic, a styrofoam block. I'm so glad we're holding on to this. Obviously, a lot of clearing is in order, but Marie would say, before I can start dealing with my family stuff, I have to tackle my own. So, come with me to the closet.
Oh, hey, welcome to another episode of DeCoded. I'm Mike DeShazer, I'm your host. Today, we're over at Grind. It's a co-working space we featured last week. This week, we'll be sitting down with the CEO and talking entrepreneurship and co-working spaces. But before we get to that, make sure you stay tuned for the top 5 tech news events happening this week in New York City. You're watching DeCoded. All right, so let's get into the top news events affecting you this week in New York City. All right, at number 5, we've got Contently. Now, Contently is a new kind of online marketing startup. Now, you're not gonna find Contently's content just on commercials or advertisements like you're used to, like billboards. You're actually gonna find their advertisements through blogs and YouTube posts. Very, very interesting. They just got $9 million. All right, so in addition to Contently, we've got Wells Fargo coming in at number 4. So Wells Fargo is opening up a VC arm here in New York City. So they have these offices in places like Seattle, Austin, other tech hubs like Boston, but now they're opening up a VC arm here in New York City, which means that it might be a lot more accessible to get venture capital from major banks. Now, at number 3, we've got Twitter. Twitter is expanding. Here in New York City, they have an office on Madison Avenue. Well, they just purchased 141,000 square foot space in Chelsea where they'll either have advertising arms or developers. We're still trying to figure out who they're gonna be putting in this space, but they're definitely expanding. That's a good thing for job seekers here in New York City. Now, at number 2, we've got Brooklyn Bridge Ventures. Now, Brooklyn Bridge Ventures is run by venture capitalist Charlie O'Donnell. And basically, this is exciting because this brings a whole new level of venture capital to the Brooklyn community. He's focusing on Brooklyn. Brooklyn Bridge Ventures is focusing on Brooklyn, and they just raised themselves $8.5 million to invest in Brooklyn-based startups. Now, for your number 1, the reason you're here, ladies and gentlemen, we've got TechCrunch Disrupt. Registration closes on February the 20th, so make sure you do not miss this. All right, TechCrunch Disrupt, it's, in case you're not familiar, it's an event where basically you're gonna be able to work with a bunch of other developers, work with entrepreneurs, and you're gonna be able to build stuff in 24 hours. It's a competition, it's gonna be really awesome, over $50,000 in prizes. We at DeCoded are definitely gonna be there. Those are your top 5 news events affecting you in New York City this week. Now, we're about to sit down with the CEO of Grind, this lovely workspace that we're currently in. And we're gonna talk to him about what it takes to grow a co-working space in the Big Apple.